So the first question we have, are there snakes here in Costa Rica? Hey everybody, welcome to Bike Hike by Me. Okay, today's video, I've been wanting to do this for over a month now.
It's about damn time.
Basically, as you guys know, I've had some foot issues, so I've been unable to hike, and also my batteries for my GoPro just died, so I had to wait for money to come in to be able to buy new ones, and finally I got them, so I'm back on camera. And today's video, I am going to do my very best to answer the questions that you guys sent in on my Instagram a few weeks back, and these are questions regarding hiking here in Costa Rica or anything related to my videos. So I'm going to do my best to answer them as well as I can, and hopefully this is going to be very informative for you guys if you're planning to come to Costa Rica. You might notice it's quite sunny out today, so summer is already here. So before we get started, I'm just going to give you guys a little update on my foot situation. I've been to the podiatrist. I had an x-ray and an ultrasound. It looks like it was due to some really bad inflammation from my Morton's neuroma. So the doctor has told me I am going to have to do some physio and I need to replace all my shoes. So yeah, just one thing at a time. But the pain has gone down. I've been using an anti-inflammatory gel and it's been working quite well, and just resting it up. So I'm actually hoping I can do some light hiking maybe in a couple weeks from now. We'll see. Keep you guys updated. And now we're coming towards the year's end, so I have a few other videos planned before New Year's, just to send off 2022 with a bang. One of them is going to be plant-based, and another one is going to be about my favorite experiences over the past year, so I hope you guys stay tuned for that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get into your Q&As. So the first question we have, which is one that I get asked all the time, is, are there snakes here in Costa Rica? And the answer to that is yes, of course. And actually some of the most venomous snakes on the planet exist here in Costa Rica, including the fer-de-lance. Is it a problem though? No, it's not. I've been hiking here many years, and I've gone to different places, and probably in the 16 years I've been here, I've only seen maybe 5 snakes in total that I've come across out in the wild. It's really not an issue. Having said that, you do need to take precautions if you are hiking in areas where there are known populations of snakes. For instance, here in Jaco, certain times of the year over by the rice fields, I've been told that there are a lot more fer-de-lance, or as they call here, the terciopelo, and that is a venomous snake, so you definitely have to be careful of that. Now, what do I do to basically protect myself? Well, I try to stay on the trail. I also use a hiking pole, especially if I'm getting off trail at all. I definitely make sure that I move my pole through the tall grasses just to scare off anything if there was a snake there. And you should be aware that they like to hang out around waterways, so rivers and streams. Definitely keep an eye out if you're hanging around the water, but generally speaking, they're really not a problem as long as you're hiking during the day. When I was in Corcovado, they wanted us off the trail by 4 p.m. because of the possibility of encountering snakes on the trail. So it seems to me like they come out at dusk or when it starts to get dark within the forest. Basically, if you just hike in the broad daylight, you should be okay. The next question is from Oliver over at Overwatering Kills, and he asks, have you ever been bitten by a spider or a snake? And my answer is no, I've never been bitten by anything venomous. Yeah, definitely never been bitten by a snake. I know people who have venomous ones, and yeah, it didn't sound fun. They were in the hospital for quite a while. Very long recovery, and it's apparently really quite painful. So I hope that never happens. If you want to avoid snake bites, just get a higher cut boot rather than the low sneaker. It just offers a little bit extra protection. A lot of the farmers around here will wear rubber boots, but overall, I wouldn't really worry about the snakes. Okay, so the next question is from Lou, and she asks, can you do most hikes without a guide? That's a great question. Sometimes I go with guides and sometimes I go without guides. And my sort of 2 cents on the matter is, if you're visiting from abroad and you don't know where you're going, you don't know the location very well, you haven't been here before, then I would recommend that you hire a guide. Now, there are a lot of hikes in Costa Rica that you can do without a guide, but again, that just depends on your level of comfort and your hiking experience. So if you're a real avid hiker and you have a lot of experience, then you might be better equipped to do certain hikes on your own and get a little bit more out of it. Whereas, if you're not really an experienced hiker and maybe you're feeling a little intimidated being in a new place, new environment, then it's a good idea to hire a guide. And a guide is going to share so much knowledge with you about the local flora and fauna, things that you just wouldn't really know if you're out there just hiking on your own. So I find the guides are really great at pointing out things that I'm just completely oblivious to, and then giving me tidbits of information here and there. They also make the hike a lot more enjoyable. You have somebody out there with you, which is obviously great for safety reasons, and somebody who knows the area very well. Those are important things when you're out there hiking. Okay, and another question that came up from Chili Blanco is, do you have to pay for most trails, and how do you book? Some trails are free, other trails are on private property or are part of the national park system, so therefore there is going to be a fee. Again, it just really depends where you're going. Most reserves, parks, and private farms do charge some sort of fee. And you should know as well that the price for locals or residents is often different than the price for foreigners. So that's another thing to keep in mind, especially with the national parks. There's a tourist fee and there's a local fee, so those vary greatly. You can actually book online and get all the prices for all the national parks on the CNAC website, so I'm going to leave the link for that down in the description below so you guys can go and check that out. And it has information as well on all of the national parks, their hours of opening, where they're located, what kind of things you can expect to see there. Go and check that out. So yeah, here in Jaco, I don't pay for hikes. So I hike on kind of clandestine trails or some of the farmers' tracks and stuff. And some of them are just back roads or dirt roads or trails that cut in between fields and things like that. But yeah, when I've gone to national parks and such, I've always had to pay a fee. That's pretty normal. Okay, so the next question is from Ken, who lives here in Jaco, and he asks, many women I know are concerned regarding safety, like what precautions to take when hiking alone. It's really dependent on the location. There are places I just would never hike alone. Either the terrain is too treacherous, or I don't know the area, or I'm going really far away where I don't get cell service, that sort of thing. These are all factors that I take into consideration. And then there are places where I do feel comfortable hiking alone. So for instance, here in Jaco, we have the Miro Trail, and there are many other trails around here that are not named or anything, but that I go and hike on. I know them very well. I know the ins and outs, so I sometimes go hiking alone. Now, having said that, it doesn't matter where in the world you live, you still need to take some precautions, especially if you are a woman hiking alone. And what I do basically is I always make sure that I have a few things with me on hand, which is a whistle. So I actually have 2 whistles, a small one here, it's not as loud, and then this guy is pretty loud. It also works really well if you're being approached by some not so nice dogs, as you guys have probably seen in some of my previous episodes. Another thing I carry with me is pepper spray. I always carry this. This is great. Say you encounter some character on the trail or something, at least the pepper spray will give you a chance. And the other thing I carry with me when I go alone is my taser. Well, it's not working today. Airplane. Sorry guys, I don't know what's going on today. There's planes flying overhead. Another thing I do when I go hiking alone is I always always, without fail, always make sure to tell somebody exactly where I am going and what time I'm expected to be back. I do try to stay in areas where I receive cell service. Around here, there is a section beyond the Rainforest Adventures where you no longer get cell service. So sometimes that's a little concerning because if I had to call somebody, I wouldn't be able to. But generally speaking, it's a good idea to stay where you receive cell service and have somebody as your backup who's basically expecting you home at a certain hour, and if you don't come home, then they can call for help. So just always have a plan in case something does happen. Another thing you should also carry is a small first aid kit in your backpack. So now we're going to get into the next question, another one from Oliver. What gear do I need for hiking in the tropics? Okay, great question. So again, that depends on the time of year that you're coming. Right now we are entering summer here on the Pacific coast, so it means that it is going to be hot and sunny most days. But if you are traveling to other regions of the country, then you're going to definitely need a rain jacket. What I've been using recently, and I really like it, is a rain poncho. So I really like the poncho. It's great. It fits over my backpack as well. But definitely if you're going over towards Monteverde or maybe on the Caribbean, you're going to need this. And if you're coming here during the rainy season, you're definitely going to need some sort of rain protection. So another thing you're going to need is a good pair of shoes. Again, depending where you're hiking, I recommend that you either get good quality sneakers for hiking or that you get a pair of hikers. Mine are looking pretty terrible and they're ready for the garbage. These are particularly good if you're heading over to the mountains. They're going to help protect your ankle. Make sure that they're waterproof. I've had to cross a lot of rivers and such. So another thing I recommend is a headlamp, especially if you're planning to do night hikes or you're planning to leave at ridiculous hours of the morning, then I recommend that you get a headlamp. So when I went to Corcovado, we began one of our hikes at like 3:30 a.m. So definitely this came in handy. Just something that you can strap on your head and something that's rechargeable without batteries. Hiking poles, okay? I don't know how you guys all feel about it. There's a lot of people that don't use them. I actually never used them until maybe about a year ago. And I kind of like them, especially when I'm climbing a lot. If I'm going up some steep sections, it's pretty helpful. Also, it serves as a snake deterrent and a weapon in case I had to defend myself. So 3 in 1. So you guys probably noticed too, I usually only hike with one pole, and that's because I'm filming and I need the other hand to be filming. So it's actually better to hike with 2 poles. I just don't hike with 2 poles because I'm filming. So there you have it. Okay, another thing you're going to want to bring with you is a day pack or some sort of backpack. So I have a Penguin 35-liter backpack. Yeah, I think this size is great for me. I generally carry a little bit more than other people because often when I'm going hiking, I'm having to go to San Jose and stay overnight and then start the hike the next morning. So I'm often bringing like overnight clothes and toiletries and things like that. You might be able to get away with a smaller bag if you're only doing a series of day hikes, but you definitely want a bag that is also waterproof or that has a waterproof covers. And then as far as clothing goes, well, you bring whatever you want, I guess, but I prefer to be covered up. I don't always enjoy wearing a lot of sunscreen. I generally wear a long sleeve shirt, like a Columbia shirt, something that dries really easily. Always bring a hat. I always bring sunglasses, and definitely need to have sunscreen for any exposed areas, so your face or your hands or your legs. Jess from Hako asks, have you been to Chiripo? And the answer is unfortunately no. So Kelly and I were actually planning to go this December, and because of the foot issues I've had and also just been kind of broke, I haven't really been able to plan it at all. So it's going to be postponed until the new year. Definitely have to see how my foot is doing, and I have to replace all my shoes and everything. So I've got a lot of costs coming up. So it's a little bit hard to plan a hike like that when there's other things at hand. But for those of you that do enjoy my content and want to help this channel keep going, you know, you can always go over to my Buy Me a Coffee page or my Patreon page and make a contribution, and this just helps basically pay for bus tickets and entry fees to parks, or things like replacing my hikers and stuff like that, planning more adventurous hikes. And if you can't contribute, maybe you could like this video and share, or subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I actually saw the other day in my statistics that 85% of you who watch my videos are not subscribed to my channel. So what are you waiting for? Go and subscribe to my channel, please. So I'm almost at 1,000 too, so help me get there, help me get monetized. Well, that's going to be all the time I have for today's video. Again, thank you so much for sending in your questions. I hope you guys enjoyed that. And I wanted to wish each and every one of you a very happy holiday. Now, don't forget I have 2 more videos coming out before the year's end, so make sure you go and subscribe to my channel. And having said that, I thank you guys for coming by, and we'll see you on the next one. Pura Vida.